All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Saturday night Sobriety Engine speaker meeting. Tonight is Saturday, January 9th, 2021. Our speaker tonight is going to be Kerry, and Kerry's been a member for our platform, I don't know, month and a half or so. I know that she's a little bit newer in her recovery, but she's definitely made a lot of progress since I've seen her here, and I'm excited to hear her story. I'm always excited to hear people's story. Carrie's 2 words for tonight, or to describe her journey, was optimistic and motivated. And I actually found a poem. It's titled Promise Yourself. Promise yourself to be strong, so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there is something in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To think only the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press onto the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. To think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but deeds, but great deeds. To live in faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you. And I don't know, that's a motivating poem. I don't know about you guys, but it's all about being a good person, a good human. That's what I strive to be. And it is beyond optimistic to have a more clear and vivid outlook on life as to the patterns that I used to live, and so many of you guys have told me, and I'm sure Kerry will tell us here. So with all that being said, Kerry, let's hear your story.
Well, first of all, thank you, Travis. That was actually so unbelievably moving and enjoyable. So yes, thank you for everyone that's here. And I guess I'm just going to start. So my childhood was, I thought, so much beautiful, because for a long time, like, I would like literally look out the window and say, oh my gosh, it's a sunny day. Should I put on my bathing suit and go out and play? And that kind of changed quickly. My parents, I don't know how to say this, but they didn't work the normal way that life should be. Like they didn't have normal jobs. So my dad wanted to appease my mom. And she thought that being pretty and having nice clothes and doing these things were like very important to her. And I don't think it was important to my dad in the first place, but he wanted to make her happy. So that's kind of how the basis of my life kind of started. But there were many, many happy times. And it just kind of, I guess I remember the happy times like looking out my window and saying, oh my gosh, it's a sunny day. We're going to go to the beach, or we're going to go to this person's pool, and we're going to do this. And then I think that what happened, and I don't know, like, this is a guess, is that my mom wanted more money and my dad was not in the situation to make as much money as he could doing different things. And So he started selling drugs, basically. So he was selling drugs and he was very good at doing that. And I didn't even know he was doing that for a long time. I went to a private school. I was one of those kind of privileged kids because my parents could provide stuff for us. And literally, like, I remember selling Girl Scout cookies. I'm not kidding. When I say my house was stacked from the top to the bottom with Girl Scout cookies, because my dad made everyone that bought a drug from him buy Girl Scout cookies. So yeah, oh, I got an award for selling Girl Scout cookies, but nobody knew why. I didn't know why till later in life. So my dad sold drugs for a long time. He was a good dad. My mom was just in it for the money. And eventually, like, it spiraled into too much stuff, and he was overtaking somebody else's territory. And my house was shut up when I was in 4th grade. I was literally laying underneath my brother's bed when people were shooting at my house because they knew my dad was at a concert and all of his friends were gone. And thankfully, we all survived that. And then we moved on to, we moved out to what you would say the country from Detroit area, but we always lived in the suburbs. But so it was like an hour from where we had been living. And that was terrible for my dad. Terrible, because he was used to being in the city. He was used to being partying with his friends and doing all the different things you do when you're selling drugs and being a part of the, you know, he had a band, he had all this, and that was his thing. And he was happy, but his family was not happy. So when we moved from an hour away, I didn't spend very much time with my family at all. I have a really close relationship with my dad's family, and I spent time with cousins, my grandparents, I was never home. Never. I was like, just get me out of here. This was terrible. And when my dad was too high or too drunk, he was definitely physically violent with my mom, which was awful. And during that time, I will say, I am so glad that I wasn't there. And so sad that my brother was there because my dad was like a check-in person. He's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this terrible thing, but I'll come check in and make sure you guys are okay at the same time. I don't know how that works mentally. So I feel terrible that my brother was there, and he's 2.5 years younger than me, but I know that I had to be gone. So that was kind of my childhood life. And then I moved on. They got divorced. My parents got divorced. And so I do admire my mom for like trying to move on and be stronger, but she's just never been that strong person. And I feel bad because strong is actually, she got us out of that place, and she did get the divorce, but she never, I don't feel like she's ever had fulfillment. And I try to help her. And I feel more connection to this dad that did all of these terrible things than I do with my mom. So that's just a side note, I guess. So then high school came, and luckily I met a lot of good people, and their families totally took us in, and my dad was kind of doing the same thing. Like, well, he was in and out of jail and doing whatever. Like, my dad kind of just did whatever, floated his boat, and so he was always there, but he was always there for like lots of other people as well as us. And I think that's a hard part for me. So moving forward, so then we got past like the teenage years, and well, kind of. So my dad was in and out of jail during that time, and for selling drugs or doing drugs or whatever he was doing at the time. And I had this boyfriend that was, we were together for like 6 years, and like the best guy ever. My graduation party, I was literally like, my dad threw it for me. And at the end of the night, like, it was a great day. Like, graduation party should be a good time, right? So it was a good day. But at the end of the night, my dad, like, I saw these people pull up, and then my dad was going off to do crack with these people after my graduation party. And then I was like crying. And so my boyfriend, who I had been with for like a long time, he was like, John, don't, my dad's name was John. John, don't do this. And he was like, I'm just going. And then, you know what? My boyfriend, who was from like this, not this kind of family at all, they beat the shit out of him. His face blew up. I don't know how his parents even let him into my like realm of life. And I will never forget that. Like, he still has scars, and we're still friends. Like, we still talk. And like, these are the things that I don't understand. So yeah, that was my graduation party. My boyfriend that came from a totally different life than I did, getting his face still has scars. And I still, like, literally, he's friends where we still run into each other all the time. He's really good friends with my brother. Nicest guy on earth. And I don't know how I don't know. And then, so going forward from that story, I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to follow in my father's footsteps, or my mom's either. I was a totally different person. Paid for myself to go through college and helped my brother out as well. And I thought I was good. I thought I was happy. And for a lot of like for a lot of times I was. I thought my parents' problems were theirs. I didn't think that was my life. And it didn't come up to me that it was their life until I was raising my own kids. So that's what I think kind of brought back or brought up the feelings of like, how could you do this? Like, I don't know. So then I went through that, and then I was like, Jeff and I have had, I mean, we've been happy on and off, like most married couples are. Like, this is not like a generic talk, but then as soon as I thought like I was in this happy place and raising these fantastic children, because my children are off the charts, I love them more than I can say and give you all their attributes and everything. But as soon as I thought that I was in a good place, my mom got mental illness and burned down a trailer. And then she did that. We handled it, me and my brother. And then she just did it again last October. So it was a repeat. And it's been very hard. It's been very hard. So I can just say that I'm so happy that I can discuss this with all of you guys and unload like no other. Like my husband earlier today was like, why are you nervous? You're so good at this. I'm like, good at what? Telling what's wrong with me? Like, how is that good? I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm here with you guys. I don't know. I love you all, and I guess I do want to kind of wish like the thing that I would say about my dad and me are like, he's so AA focused, and I didn't go over this, like I skipped it. So this is a big thing for me. So as soon as my dad actually got sober and AA became like this huge part of his life, which, hey, great. Now I see it. I didn't see it before because you guys are my people now. When I was, well, I met Jeff, yeah. So I was getting married when I was 29. He was marrying a 21-year-old. So my thing with AA, there's so many things with it. It doesn't have to do with AA. It has to do with my dad doing the AA thing. That I feel like as soon as he got sober, he let that replace all of the things that I focused on him and tried so hard to help him throughout the years. So, and Craig, yeah, I see you now. I feel like you've opened my eyes to a different kind of AA. And if my dad was saying the same thing, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I would say the same thing, but it's discovering different things. So no, that hurt. Like AA replaced like all the years that I had picked him up from every hospital and everything and all of those things. Like, and then he married someone that was 9 years younger. Not that that really mattered, but then they had to get like, so I have a brother that's a year older than my oldest son. And then there's always competition, like, oh, they did this, they did that. And I was like, I just wanted a grandpa. I just wanted a grandpa. I didn't have a dad for so many years. I just wanted a grandpa. I think that's it. Thank you all for listening and being my support.
Thank you for making yourself vulnerable and sharing that stuff with us. You know, I can certainly relate a lot to it. You know, one of the things that I was really taking notes upon was just the family dysfunction and how growing up as a child, like that's normal because that's the only thing that I know because it's like the only place I'm living. School and your parents, you know, like growing up are the only environments that you learn from. And so it sounds like in your family there's a lot of dysfunction, and when you learn to pretend and know dysfunction, and then you get into the real world, and the dysfunction is no longer normal. It makes for like chaos. It's like, what do you mean this chaos? Like this insanity doesn't exist for most people. Like it's just me. It's really enlightening, and then it starts, you know, for me I had to start, you know, and then still I'm currently looking back at experiences in my childhood, relationships from my childhood, events and circumstances and stuff, and I'm able to see how I think about these things till today, and that takes it takes effort to be able to have that awareness. And then I don't have the experience to have kids to learn from them, but could certainly be able to imagine how that would kind of amplify the effects a little bit, how trying to raise children the way that you were not raised and then having them teach you things more, you know, was again correlating back to whatever happened once upon a time. It's just you know, it's brave to bring these things up because this is what's hurting you, and this is what has been hurting, and it's your story, and that's what's most important. You know, your story is your story to share, and I'm certainly thankful for what you had to share and bringing it to the table. And I'm sorry to hear what happened on your graduation party. That seems yeah, that would be a I wouldn't know how to comprehend that. But thank you for unloading that off of your plate and onto ours so that we can help you digest that a little better. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else have any words of advice for Kerry, or anything that they would like to ask her, or anything at all? Craig and Desiree?
My name is Craig. I'm an alcoholic from Chula Vista, California. And again, I want to say, you know what? What a very moving story. And Travis is right. It's your story, right? No matter what, it's yours. And the good thing about this right now, you just unloaded a whole bunch of fucking rocks out of that bag. And you know what? I got to tell you something. And this is no kidding. When this is all over with at 7 o'clock, well, whatever time it is where you are, you're just going to sit there and you're just going to go, fuck. You're going to feel so much better that you were able to, like Travis said, let us help you, because you just unloaded your life on us, and now we are here for you, because you know what, that's what it is. We don't do this stuff alone. And again, I say, you know what, I give you all the props in the world. It takes so much courage to get up there and tell the story, the good, the bad, the ugly, or what, you know, that's just the way I put it, the good, the bad, the ugly. But you know what, I want to tell you that, you know what, you're in the right place. We are all here for support. You know, I heard you mentioned about you starting to work the steps. And you know what, that's going to be another turning point in your life. Because believe it or not, we that have done the steps and have done them thoroughly, we get to move on with life, right? This is what you get to do now. So, you know, you come in, you start in, you're beat to shit. You are just, you know, you feel the worst in the world, and you can start working the steps and you become a new person. You become, when you get to the middle and then to the end, it'll be the new Kerry that's going to be there. And you don't regret the past, and you don't shut the door on it, but don't stare in the rearview mirror too long, because you know what, you might stumble on just what's right in front of you. So anyhow, my name is Craig. I'm an alcoholic from Chula Vista, California. And did you want to say something? And I had a feeling that my wife wanted to say a couple words also.
Hi, Kerry. Oh my God, I get so choked up. My name's Desiree, and I am an alcoholic, and it's so good to be here for you to talk about what happened in your life. And I gotta say, it rang, it brought back some memories that I had growing up with my parents being alcoholics, and living with that, and how helpless you feel as a child, and you can't help them. And it's so frustrating because, you know, I just felt like, you know, that maybe that I didn't love them enough, or something was wrong with me, that I couldn't help my parents. Because, you know, it's a very frightening thing to be on that end of it, and to grow up with that. And your parents are supposed to be your strong support in your home. And it's hard, and it's frightening, and it sucks. And I told myself that I would never be like that. And I did that to myself too. And, you know, it's just very upsetting. And I just want you to know that I understand, because I grew up like that too. I didn't have the exact same things happen to me, but there was plenty of run-ins with crying and pleading, and I remember my dad getting violent with my mom and punched her in the face. And we saw this, and my mom took us across the street to the neighbor's house, and we saw through the neighbor's window my dad being taken away with the police. I remember all that, and how scary that is. Because, you know, like I said, they're supposed to be your strong support. It's your home. You have nowhere else to go. So I do understand that, and I just wanted to say thank you for being brave and talking about it, because, you know, in everybody's family, there's all this stuff that happens in our lives, and we always say, you know, oh, I'll never be like that. You just never know. But You know, we're here as survivors to tell the story and say, no more. We're not letting this define us. We're not letting this be our lives anymore. We're going to be better. We're going to be stronger. And we're going to support each other. And that's why we're here to talk. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, Desiree, I can't say that we probably could exchange stories for so many hours that it doesn't really matter at the end, right? It matters if we're happy and if we can let it go. And that's a hard road that my husband's good at just letting things go. I can't. Like, I have to dissolve them. It's not me. So thank you for saying that. And I'm glad I hope we're here together for a long time and we can talk about it because it's important. Thank you.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Or can you? Hi, Kerry. God, you're such love you too. It's such a blessing to have you come into my life, and you're just such a remarkable woman. And I haven't had the chance, obviously, to go too in depth on your story. But I just have to tell you, for you to have gone through all that stuff and for you to be who you are today, I mean, I just am really, for other reasons, I'm speechless, but for this, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. But I'm just to make that decision that I'm not going to be that. But to have no role models, do you know what I mean? And for you to become this remarkable, caring person that's a wonderful mother and a wife, and you have new ambition that you're going to go and get your real estate license and open up a shop. Maybe I can open a second shop where I live. We can
absolutely
conquer the world. Why not? It's sidebar there, but I mean, I just have to tell you, Kerry, it's like, not only to me, but reached out through cyberspace or whatever to my own mom with us going through what we've gone through. Yesterday, Kerry like surprised us and had lunch delivered to the hospice house where my mom and I were with my father. I mean, I don't really care about the whole meeting in person because I think we've all gotten to the point where it's like the second we'll see each other, it's as if we had always been right next to each other talking the way we are, but unfortunately we're far away right now. But I just wish you were closer. That's the only thing. I think we would, but that doesn't mean we can't create stuff and visit and all that good stuff. But I'm so sorry that you ever had to go through that. I mean, it makes me, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to talk such accolades about my family and my dad, you know, because he would have taken you in too. And like he did with a lot of my friends that didn't have it. But, you know, we all had our different struggles and things. My family, my parents weren't, you know, that wasn't the issues. So I just, I'm really thankful that you are accepting of me, knowing that I had the other extreme for the most part, you know, with my father who passed this morning. And I just think you've got such a bright future. And even your boys, like you were sending me playlists of my rap. And she's like, it's going to be totally inappropriate. And I'm like, even better. Just kidding.
I think. Totally my thing.
I was like, yeah, there better be some swears and some other stuff.
Actually, Justin's right here. Say hi.
Hi.
He's on the playlist. All right.
Yeah, that was awesome. That got me through some hours last night. And my mom, God bless, she actually slept a little. It was kind of sweet. My dad was snoring as his thing, and my mom was snoring. And my mom's like, I never snore. It was kind of cute. And I'm listening to like, boop, boop, boop. Anyway, so I'm dancing around a little. But anyway, I don't want to keep going. But I'm just, it's a honor and a privilege to have gotten to know you and to be able to support you through this and be there every day with you and every step of the way. And I can't wait till we get together soon, hopefully. I love you. Thank you for everything.
Well, I love you. I love you guys all. Please, somebody interject if I haven't said this about like the staring at the wall. And my dad said you could just do anything that you want. Have I said this story or no? Yeah. Okay. So I'm sure my dad just wanted to nap. And he's like, and I was little, probably like 3 or 4. And I'm like, Dad, I can't nap. He's like, Kerry, you can do anything. I'm like, I can't nap, Dad. He's like, you can do anything you want. I'm like, I can't make something move if I don't want it to, like, right? And he's like, mind over matter. And so for all the faults that I will say that my dad has given me, he gave me mind over matter. So I literally, I was 3 or 4, stared at like the wall. I'm like, I can make that move. I can totally make that move. It didn't move, but I've never given up hope. Never given up hope in my life. So during this process of me being an alcoholic and doing different things or not doing different things, I think I always knew who I was. And I never gave up hope on myself. And I think that's the most important part. So I will never give up on hope for anyone else in this room. And if you need hope, call me, text me. I am like, I don't know, I'll figure it out and try to make it move. Even if it doesn't.
Never give up.
Yeah, never give up. So.
I'll come hunt you down and find you.
See? That.
In a nice way. It won't hurt you or anything.
No, I love you.
Yeah, my internet's been kind of shitty at the moment, so I'm gonna hop off camera. Hopefully I don't lose. But Dave, did you have something that you wanted to say?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. Thank you. Dave, alcoholic addict. I just wanted to say thank you very much, Kerry, for sharing your story. It was definitely very moving, and for you to have the courage to be up here and doing that is amazing. I hope to one day be able to do the same thing myself. Just haven't quite got there yet. But I get a lot of inspiration from people like you and other people, and perhaps one day I will. And I just wanted to say that, I think you're an exceptional human being. You've definitely went above and beyond what I could ever imagine. The support that you've given me, and the positiveness and the help. I've met a lot of people through Sobriety Engine that have given me support. But I don't think anything compares to what you've done for me, and words can't express how grateful I am to you, Kerry. You're truly an amazing woman, and I've been really blessed to have met you, and I just hope that we continue to have a great friendship. And thank you for being here tonight. That's it. Thanks.
Well, Dave, thank you so much. And honestly, I feel the same way about you. I think it's nice that we have kids that are around the same age. We can connect on different bases and talk about, some things that, I feel the same way about you. So thank you very much. And I love you too.
Thank you.
One of the things that I'm kind of finding interesting is, like I saw my father drink and stuff, and I remember him offering me drinks at like 14 or 15, and the neighbors were over, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna drink. I'm never gonna drink, and at that time I was still, I was still looking at my father as a role model because that was like the only male figure in my life, so I just knew that I didn't want to drink, but I was still taking in a lot of what he was telling me, a lot of his behaviors, his mannerisms, and all this stuff. Um, and then obviously I eventually picked up the habits. But then when I got clean, I started realizing all of the behaviors that I carried that I had picked up in as a kid. And how many of those habits now that I don't want to have, and how hard it is for me to get rid of those. How many of the behaviors that I'm changing today are behaviors that I picked up because I said at one point in time I don't want to do, but I ended up doing anyways. I think that's just it's a real ironic portrayal of what addiction is, at least for me. I spent a lot of my time saying that I wasn't going to do a lot of the things that I'm working on undoing, if that makes sense. But that's a lot of a common familiarity that I feel like we're making. So it's interesting. Gail, what's on your mind tonight?
Hi, everybody. Good to be here as always. Kerry, thank you so much, so much. It takes an incredible amount of courage to share your story. I mean, we share things in meetings, little bits here and there. But to put it all out there, the big things that you remember takes a lot of courage. But it just feels so good after. Scary, but we're all here still. We still love you. We love you more if possible. And we don't have the same details, but we are the same. And I just love that you can still see some good things, from your dad, even though he caused so much pain and still is from the sounds of things. Hang on to the good, let go of the bad, and know that we're here. We love you. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you, Gail.
And one of the things that Gail's talking about, and Craig said, whenever you get out of this meeting and it ends, it kind of sinks in. For me, I was like, oh, okay, that's over with. But I noticed like the week afterwards was such a healthy week for me to dig into a lot of my shit. And I had one of the most productive weeks I've ever had in recovery, like the next week, because I was like, all of this shit is out. I'm ready to eat so much more shit. And it was like a good shot of adrenaline right into my sobriety, right when I needed it the most. And once all of this anxiety and nervousness kind of settles in, and if you want to rewatch this again to give you a little bit more motivation, but it really, really gave me a nice jump boost and when I needed it. And talking about these things in a space like this and sharing it is, it's beneficial to ourselves just to get it out of our head and our soul, but it's also beneficial because you're sharing it with other people who are willing to pick it up and, not judge you or not make us feel, the way that whatever is portrayed in my head, like I'm afraid that I'm going to be rejected or I'm going to sound like a lunatic or my story is way too crazy. No one's gonna, like, whatever. Like, you guys all came back. You never ran away from me. You never judged me. Nothing came back. So I knew that it was a good, healthy space to unload. And yeah, it's just, I hope that you find a good boost of motivation that that I found and a few of others of us have found. Um, it's a healing process, and I'm glad that you're able to volunteer to go through it and show up for it. You've definitely struck me as someone who's definitely willing to do the work, and have showed up multiple times and done it. So I like that.
Well, there's lots of people in this room that are very motivating to do that. And I think that's what Sobriety Engine is to me. Like I look up to you guys, and everyone shows up. And when someone doesn't show up for maybe a day or a minute, some of us check in to just see if those people are okay. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you, and everyone who joins. It offers more perception and love, and whatever they have to offer just makes the experience better. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to share tonight? Mr. Leo?
Grateful to be here tonight. Yeah, I would like to share that I woke up this morning and I didn't think about drinking, man. You know, thank you, Kerry, for your share, for your story. It does take courage, that's for sure. You know, letting go creates a vacuum, and now you have a fill up the vacuum with the program with positive stuff, you know, and so there's a lot of space there to be filled now with a lot of positive stuff, you know, and I was also thinking at the beginning of the meeting, Travis, he read something. Was that yours?
Those were my words that I gave to him, but he came up with the rest.
Okay, no, because I have a paper that my mom gave me many years ago, and it has that. She wrote it in Spanish. But I know she got it from a paperback book of prayers, and that's what I read like every night. And part of it is what Travis was reading at the beginning of the meeting. So I don't know. I'm gonna look into this tonight. It just like hit me, you know. But I really appreciate your share. Keep coming back.
Well, you know what, Billy, I love that, and I do believe that we all come together at some point. So if there's something that I said and that all comes together with something that your mom put, I would love to know about it. So that's precious to me. It's very precious to me.
Yeah, the higher power, if you want to call it, works in quite mysterious ways sometimes. Sometimes shit happens that's just, you just can't even describe it. Like, what? What?
Yeah, right.
That's the way it works sometimes. Leo, what did you want to share, buddy?
Hey everybody, my name is Leo. I'm an alcoholic, you know, and so much respect for you. Actually, the four of you, you know, I was thinking about this while we were here tonight, you know, between between Bonnie, Kim, Jessica, and you, I mean, it's not a coincidence that the four of you have come in together at this time in this platform. And you know, the honesty that you all bring, it's really cool to be able to trust people that I don't know. You know, it's really cool to be able to listen to their pain, and they're legit. There's no fake in this room, you know, and that's really cool. And with my therapist who helps me, the two things that I'm still unpacking, and I need professional help to unpack, is shame and fear that I carry from my youth. And I'm not one to analyze nothing, but you sound like you got some guilt that you carry that you have to unpack with a pro that you trust. And I don't know if you see a therapist. I mean, they're amazing. Like,
yeah.
Beautiful. They're amazing. So just, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. The drinking's going to go away once all the bullshit goes away, and all of a sudden, you know, we start to find value in ourselves. And you know what? Fuck this. I am a good person. And you know, shit was done to me, and we're all exactly where we're supposed to be at. We're all exactly where we're supposed to be at, and how you feel is how you feel. You know, and like I said, mad respect for you. I mean, your son loves you. He just hovers around like a moth to a flame. You know, that was cool to see. That was cool to see. So what was done to us, we can let it go, and you know, just keep coming back to these rooms. And I trust you, man. I think you're cool people, and I'm glad I met you.
Hey, Leo, I love you and I look up to you, and I value every word that you say. So thank you for all of your advice, and thank you.
I like what Leo just said about what has happened to us can be undone. You know, like that is, it's been true for me. I know that a lot of bad things have been done for me. But I think in order for that to come down, there has to be a certain amount of willingness in order to ask those questions and take on whatever those answers are, right? Because things that have happened to us can be undone, but it takes a little bit of effort to get rid of some knots or dig to the core of the problem or whatever. But it's good to know that what we used to be or what we used to know can be retaught and, you know, into something else. I think that's what gives me hope in my recovery. When I learned that who I was doesn't be who I have to be or who I am. You know, after all that, it was just an amount of putting in work and showing up. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to share for the night?
I'll just say thank you for everyone that's here and the support and the determination that I have to be sober, first of all, and to live just an uncomplicated life. Like it doesn't, I think alcohol complicates everything. Like, you know, we overthink everything because, oh, geez, it's easier to drink something than, or, you know, everyone has their own story. But for me, I want peace and to move on with you guys, of course. And it's always going to be work. Nothing's easy, but thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for sharing your story and volunteering and it was a courageous story. I'm touched by it. I'm really grateful for all the support that was given to you, that was offered. You know, it's one of the beautiful things about these meetings. One of the things we get to unload a lot of it, and then we get to witness a lot of what peer support and peer love and community love looks like. And to me, that's a beautiful thing.
It is.
So thank you for giving us a great share, Kerry, and thank you all for showing up. For all of those who are still sick and suffering out there in this world, let's have a moment of silence. Then we will close out with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity
To accept the
things I cannot change, courage to finish the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Coming back.
Coming back, it works when you work it. Kerry, good job. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for being
service.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
So much, Kerry.
Have
Love
a
you
good
all.
evening, everyone.
Good night. Thanks, Kerry. Good night.
Thank
Good night.
you.